Right, a Ponzi scheme is an investment fraud that pays existing investors with funds collected from new investors. Ponzi scheme managers are often deceptive, betraying promises to invest clients' money and generate high returns with little or no risk. But sadly, the fraudsters do not invest the money.
Simply put, a Ponzi scheme is an investment scam that pays early investors with money taken from later investors to create an illusion of big profits.
So the sudden closure of corporate office and online transaction of crypto bridge exchange, Smart Treasures, widely known as CBEX, the digital asset platform, on Monday, grief and regret have enveloped investors.
Maybe I should ask, which of the Ponzi schemes have you
I don't
taken
even
part
know.
in?
I don't even know. I don't even do that. I haven't even heard
What
of
about the
CBEX.
popular MMM?
I never did.
Okay.
I've never.
All right. Great. Now, the disappearance by CBEX may cause some investors to commit suicide, having watched, in some cases, entire life savings, pensions, business money, and hope for a more secure financial future evaporate.
This latest Ponzi scheme, crashing, financial experts say, may have cost the victims an estimated 1.4 trillion naira. Now, such colossal sum will no doubt, of course, have dire consequences.
So true. Now, the CBEX swindle, now Nigeria's biggest Ponzi scam, when added to an estimated 1.7 trillion naira lost by Nigerians in sundry Ponzi schemes in 9 years.
And meanwhile, the House of Representatives has directed the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the FCC, and the Nigeria Police to intensify investigations towards apprehending and prosecuting the manager of the Ponzi cryptocurrency investment scheme known as CBEX.
Well, Claire, in addition to the AFCC, to the arrest, the FCC says it would collaborate with the international criminal police and organizations to investigate the CBEX and assures investors of recouping their trapped funds.
No, one thing that worries me or is concerned is, reactive measures. I mean, we wait until the damage is done before we start looking for them. I mean, CBEX has been... Anyway, let's get on. Sadly, these fraudulent Ponzi schemes are said not to have registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, which highlights the growing risk posed by unregulated digital investment platforms. So it's on this note I welcome you again to Good Morning Nigeria this Tuesday. I am Claire Adilabu Abdurrazak. Thank you for joining us.
And, it just dawned on me, Claire, that this is actually a serious matter for those who invested a lot of money. To probably not be smiling about this issue. So I don't know where to put myself in talking about it.
I honestly, I don't know what to say about it, but you can't catch me. You can never catch me doing any of those schemes. What sounds too good?
You don't want to double your money?
What sounds too good to be true? There's something really, really wrong with it. You must look at it again with the second eye. If it sounds too good to be true, please, take a walk.
All right. You just heard Claire. I'm Henry John. This is Good Morning Nigeria, live on the network service of the NTA. This is Africa's largest TV network. And like you know, you can't beat the rich. In the course of the program, Chukwudi Abuja will join us for newspaper review. Welcome back. It's still Good Morning Nigeria, live on the network service of the NTA. And up next is newspaper review.
Right, welcome back and thank you for being there for us. Chukwudi Abuja is right here with us for the newspaper review, and it's a pleasure to have you, Chukwudi.
How are you doing? Good to see you as well.
I could be better though.
Nyere.
Good to see you, Chukwudi.
You know why I like you? You're always here. Thank you.
You're always here too.
Thank
and
you.
I like you too.
We are always here.
Yeah, Claire, you're also always here. Let's go.
All right, let's look at the papers quickly now. Let's begin with the leadership this morning. And the lead story here says 138 cardinals to elect new pope as Francis dies at 88. The riders, 18 Africans to participate in selection process. Ghanaian Tucson, 9 others among contenders. Tinubu, Trump, others more. All of that on page 4. Of course, beside that story, we have Ohanese insists on restructuring. That's on page 27. Dangote spends 31 billion naira on food programs. Above the lead story, we have this one. Benue is under siege. Alia cries out. That's the governor there, and that's on page 23. You want to find out what's going on. Above that, after 40 years, Mina Airport commences commercial flights. Above the masthead, National Assembly extends holiday amid security concerns. And next to that, Plateau killings. Church leaders demand justice. And the picture story is that of Pope Francis, who passed on yesterday, born 1936 and passed on yesterday, 2025. All right, let's look away from the leadership now. Let's see what the Daily Times is offering this morning. The Daily Times leads with security concerns, and the story is bandits impose 60 million naira on 12 Zamfara communities. That's on page 2. Above the masthead, of course, the story of Pope Francis is also right here and captioned this way. Atiku, Abbas, Lawan, Kalu pay tribute as Pope Francis dies at 88. Khan leads protest at Jaws over herdsmen killing of 150 villagers. Details on page 2. And looking away from that, we have my comment on North. Your response is lazy. Baba Ahmed slams on Anuga. Nigerian Correctional Service denies bomb explosion in Maiduguri prison. Tension mounts in Delta over alleged murder of Governor Oborobori's aide. And that's on page 10. In a red strip, after 19-day European trip, Tinubu returns to Nigeria. All right, that's about it on the front page of the Daily Times this morning. Claire.
All right, I don't have much to take from the Daily Trust except the headline news. It says Kano, Katsina, Jigawa get 2-hour power supply daily. Small businesses suffer losses, and Kaduna Electric Development Company, KEDO, blames outage on system upgrade. The details of that you can find on pages 3 and 4. And then there's a picture story there of Christians on Easter Monday in Jos, Plateau State, protesting over the recent killings in Bokus and Basel GAs. And other stories Yuri had taken from the other papers. So I think, Chukwudi, if you...
Yes, Claire, let us first of all pay tribute to Pope Francis. I had a short Facebook write-up yesterday where I recalled the unbelievable limit he tended to have pushed humility to. I recall a particular occasion where when he traveled to, what was the South American country, so, where he was washing the feet of people you would call underprivileged and actually kissing their feet. I mean, it was practically unimaginable, but it happened. We cannot begin to describe to the Catholic Church the weightiness of any of the popes they've had. But I dare say, from a personal point of view, that Pope Francis has stood out to me, you know, Pope John Paul too, that time, you know. Let's leave the holy seas so we don't defile them, in quotes, okay?
Which of the denominations are you?
Does it matter, really?
No, I'm just asking, just curious.
I'm not going to tell you, but I'm not a Catholic. But when I see a Muslim do something that should be emulated,
or maybe you're
I
not,
tell the world about it.
Maybe you are faithless.
Do I sound like a heathen? Claire, you are derailing this talk.
Yes.
Then I noted too that apart from Pope Francis, the Catholic Church has always put out men and women who have stood out I recalled that Calcutta nun, Mother Teresa, who said giving is best when it comes from a needy circumstance. Imagine, can you beat that?
Yes, the question now is,
Yes.
what happens when a pope dies? 137 cardinals to choose new pontiff, and from the list I saw, peddled, on the social media, there's an African, a Ghanaian, and I think I just remarked. I said, well, maybe that's just for the numbers. Yes.
I heard something yesterday that maybe it's time to make the papacy more of an European giving more European texture.
Texture. Yeah, well, I think you get my
Now,
drift.
wow.
Really. You're not saying anything.
Wait till we do.
Well, for me, I just think irrespective of where the person is from, what's important is that the Christian faith, sees progress. Whatever he stands for, I think that will move the body of Christ forward. That's what I think. It's not about where the person is from. It doesn't have to be African.
You're saying, as I would like to put it, let us see more spirituality happen from all these rather than religious showmanship, which tends to have taken over the streets these days, May
Well,
so rest in perfect peace.
I do have a country review, but again, we are all entitled to
our
opinions about how it's done. But
Yes.
again, let the cardinals, let the 137 cardinals, irrespective of race and tribe,
Yes.
choose the pontiff.
You would talk like a journalist, so let's permit you to do that. Otherwise, the rituals of the Catholic Church, I'm not really a fan of that side of it. The humility they show,
No. It's quite
not
sacred.
losing their members to Pentecostal zealots easily and all that. I praise them for it. I don't know how they achieve it.
It still resonates with me. And by the way, I attended, missionary school.
Oh dear.
So the rituals you talk about.
Yes, I
rituals
should watch my lips since you're here, really, my dear.
Anyway, quickly, we have 60 seconds to
Okay.
go. Kanu Katsina Jigawa get 2 hour power supply daily. I mean, should this come as a surprise?
2 hour what?
2 hour power supply daily. Small businesses are closing in those areas.
And that would mean that maybe those on band C or D may not even get power at all.
What doesn't really matter to me from my analysis as a journalist is the instances of failure we record now. What I'm interested in is why would we, since 1999 up until now, still be dancing between 3,400 megawatts and 6,000 megawatts and all that? Are we jinxed? If there is sufficient production of power and good transmission of it, because distribution is a big problem in Nigeria, I think all these things will become a...
Well, Kedo says is
that will be the Kaduna...
Yes.
Okay.
Electricity Development Company, whatever.
Yes.
It says it's due to system upgrade. If it's due to system upgrade, well, it means this is just...
Temporary.
Temporary, yes. Just for a short period of time. And then probably after that, when all the system upgrade is complete, maybe the hours of power supply will probably... They'll be compensated.
Yes, but I want to suggest that system upgrades in our climb do not translate into things that fly in the face of modern technology. The other people upgrade theirs, yet the light does not blink. Claire, let's go to another issue, please. Sorry to my dear brothers and sisters in the states you mentioned.
All right. Maybe the security concern.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Security concern.
Benue under siege.
Yeah.
Plateau killing. Khan is demanding justice.
Yeah.
Then bandits impose 60 million naira levies on 12 Zamfara communities. Let me start from the bottom.
You have 60 seconds.
We don't get to hear kinetic and non-kinetic anymore. So the army, they are really facing squarely the job before them. But I want to say that it is sad that we should, at this stage, still be talking about a part of Nigeria where bandits still hold sway in particular territories. The reasons are not too far-fetched. You need more boots on the ground. That means you need more recruitment into the police force, the army, the navy, and the rest of it.
All right.
Let us work towards that, please.
Chukwudi,
Many thanks,
you.
Chukwudi.
Thank
Very
you.
good point to say thank you to you.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow, as always.
Thank you so
Have a good
much.
day. All right, you're watching Good Morning Nigeria. Please don't go away. Our topic today will be interesting and, of course, beneficial to you. Let me remind you, Ponzi schemes. Have you fallen? Have you been a victim? If so, if not, please stay with us.
All right, good to have you back. You're still watching Good Morning Nigeria live on the network service of the NTA. And just before we get into our conversation, which is on Ponzi schemes, very interesting, by the way. Let's take a look at this background report put together by our correspondent, Ibrahim Bello Gunda.
A Ponzi scheme is a type of investment scam where returns are paid to existing investors from funds contributed by new investors rather than from profit. Nigerians have fallen victims to a series of Ponzi schemes that over the years promised quick riches through high return but ended in devastating losses. They attract unsuspected persons with the allure of high returns with little risk, and in an attempt to gain quick cash, end up losing everything. Despite repeated warnings from financial regulators and government agencies, Ponzi schemes continue to evolve, rebranding and leveraging social media to gain trust and spread rapidly. Many victims, however, ignore red flags and regulatory advice from MMM, Loom, Ultimate Cycler, and Twinkers, most of which abruptly closed, leaving millions of investors stranded and confused. Recently, the collapse of CBEC's platform has once again brought the activities of Ponzi schemes to satellite of relevant authorities. Early this year, President Tinubu signed into law Investment and Security Act 2025, which strengthened the Security and Exchange Commission's enforcement power to criminalize Ponzi schemes. What is the implication of the new law? What happens to people recently swindled by CBEC's Ponzi scheme? This will form part of discussion on the program as our guests are seated in the studio ready for the conversation.
Absolutely, Gunda, thank you. And our guests are all here ready for this important conversation. But let me quickly remind you that you can also be part of our conversation by sending in your comments, your suggestions. And shortly, already the lines are there, 0816. It's quite visible. I can't read it from here. But the lines are there for you to join our conversation. So let me quickly start the introductions with Professor Uche Uwaleke. He's a professor of capital market and Director, Institute of Capital Market Studies at the Nasarawa State University. Prof, I'd like to thank you, and should I also say my lecturer. Thank you for good to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Claire.
Yes.
And good morning, Nigeria.
And we're also fortunate to have with us this morning Dr. Momotimi Agama, who's the Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. Dr. Agama, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
The pleasure is mine, and thank you for having me.
All right, also joining us for the conversation from our Lagos studio is Shaibu Idris. He is the Managing Director and CEO of Timeline Consults Limited. Many thanks for joining us, sir. Consults Limited.
Good morning and thanks for having me. Good morning, fellow discussants.
All right, gentlemen, thank you once again. We are back here to discuss in Ponzi schemes, and I'm just wondering, how Nigerians unknowingly fall victims. And I'd like to start if anyone is open to sharing personal experiences, or of someone who has been a victim. I'd really like to hear, what the experiences are and what signs you discovered. Let me probably start with our guest in Lagos. All right, let me come back here. When I think we're trying to adjust the quality of our visuals from Lagos. So let me just start from the studio here. The Prof and Doc, any personal experience or someone why the unknowing default victim, what signs there are? I don't know. Let me start with Prof. Now we're passing the book.
You are the lecturer. We'll start with you.
Okay, yes, okay, fine, that's fine. Only, I think only, just a few days ago, one of the victims of the recent one, the CBEX, yes, one of the victims actually shared, some materials with me. According to her, I was on Arise TV, in connection with this. So she said after watching me on Arise TV, she felt, she needed to share her experiences with somebody. So she forwarded a number of things to me. So she said that, this particular, company set up a branch here in Abuja and organized, kind of seminar, for them. And they were all there. And the company told them that they were doing legitimate business, that they already have certifications from the Corporate Affairs Commission, and they also have this, documents from the EFCC. Okay, so they got the impression that the company
was legit.
Yes.
What kind of business did they say they were into?
Yes, of course, the business of doubling your
Investment.
money. Investment. Okay, and she also said that they even brought evidence of people who had, dropped money, and then because they were promising, I think 30%, return or 40% return. Yes. So they said she said they brought evidence of people who did that, But she also said that they kept asking this question. Some people say that most people that indulge in this are not, literate, they're not financially literate, but that's not true, because this particular person is well educated. And she also said that she kept asking the question, and some other people that came with her kept asking the question, is this business registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission? Because most people know that the Securities and Exchange Commission is the agency of government that is responsible for protecting investors. And the response was that they had applied and something would soon be out, So on the basis of that, she invested.
How much?
Yes, I know she didn't tell me how much she invested, but she also told me that a number of if you like, well-educated people, top civil servants, okay, we're also in that yes. And
did she tell you what they were investing in to be able to double the money? Were they selling products or
no? Those are the issues.
Did they say? My question is, if someone says if you bring 10 naira, I'll make it 40 naira in 30 days. Did they tell them what they were doing with the 10 naira that will make it, produce 40 naira in 30 days?
No, of course they'll come and tell you they are, whatever they're doing is crypto enabled. That if you dropped money with them, okay, they would use AI to trade for you, to invest in digital assets, invest in cryptocurrencies. Okay, so the impression being created is that these people are actually doing business, with the money, that they will invest the money in cryptocurrency. Of course, the forex investment is common. So when somebody tells you that he will buy crypto for you, cryptocurrency, when it appreciates, okay, he returns money to you, of course. Okay, so that's what actually lured them.
Prof, what did she say made her feel that this is legitimate? Yes. What are those points?
The pointers. As I said, those were deceptive. They brought CAC certificate. Okay. They also brought this certificate from the EFCC. And said yes. The EFCC is aware of the stance of the company, but as I said, and they also brought pictures of, if you like, CSR activities they have been involved in. Okay, this particular company would go to schools and share, books. Would also go to hospitals and do things. So they appeared as a responsible corporate, citizen. Okay, so. And of course, when you're a friend of yours that you also trust, is telling you, come, let's do this, that, and you know, the thing, as I said earlier on, you know, because somehow they have been managing to get away with some of this, and that's because of the fact that they were leveraging social media. Okay, I'm sure you didn't hear about them until the thing broke. Many people didn't know about them until it broke.
I was
yes,
exactly.
exactly.
I've never heard
And that's
of
because they
CBEX.
were just using social media, you know, WhatsApp, Instagram to get people. All right.
So people never converged in a venue.
No,
where they were
do.
educated.
No, they did.
They did.
Yes, as I said, they were holding seminars, they were holding workshops,
Okay.
and they were also using influencers, celebrities, to also further promote
The business.
whatever they are doing. Yeah.
All right.
Dr. Gama.
Well,
Any-
whether or not you have someone or you know someone who has fallen prey to any of these Ponzi schemes, you should have an idea how it runs.
Sure, I do.
Somehow. So share with us.
Sure, I do. It's very interesting. I long ago had knowledge about Ponzi schemes, and that's right from the university. In 1989, when I was in the university in Port Harcourt, right, you had the Umana experience. And I had a sister-in-law who had invested in it. And there at the university, even as an undergraduate, we're questioning the rationale. Because, I mean, critically, for you to have an ROI of 100%, of 60%, whoever it is that's promoting it must have at least minimum 100%. Because the person must have an overhead and must make profit. And there's nobody, no businessman that will love you more than himself, right? So much to it is that the person must at least make 2 times or 3 times what he's expecting to pay you. And that was almost impossible because on the premise of rationality, that couldn't have happened. So I got in contact with my sister-in-law who told me about it then. And I said, no, this is not possible. At the university, we debated it, we thought about it through, all the kind of the theories that could exist, and we didn't find anything to support it. And so, I told my sister-in-law to get out of it because she would soon get burnt. Fortunately, she listened. But others that didn't listen got burnt. And that was the story, And subsequently, of course, you have others that have come to be. Then as a regulator, we have met a lot of them, and we have clamped down on them.
Please, can you now clarify? Let's try to do
Yes.
concept clarification if
Yes.
possible.
Yes.
Let's break it down pieces now.
Yes.
What exactly is a Ponzi scheme?
Great. It's very simple. Ponzi scheme actually started, in the 20th century from a guy called Charles Ponzi. Charles Ponzi is an Italian who migrated to the US, and he promised his investors that he was going to give them 50% of, the investment, and people went. People fell for it. And as soon as people fell for it, it became popular until it got crashed. Because the truth about it is that what happens in Ponzi scheme is the people are promised much more than they can deliver. And the simple trick is to rob Peter to pay Paul. So they use your money, and they collect money from you, and ask you to go get other investors. Then they use the other person's money added to your money to pay you, to give you a deceptive feeling that, they are doing something to make you make money. And by the time they do that over time, it gets to a point where they cannot continue to do that. And they have amassed enough for themselves to be able to run away. And that's how it is. There is nothing supporting it. There's just nothing supporting it. And so this tendency, as it grows, right, out of, what I call choices that we make as individuals in business, or choices that we make as individuals, wanting to make money, we go into this. As far as I'm concerned, these people are actually not investors, because that is not an investment in the first instance. So you find out that people continue to get gullible, right, out of one desperation, the desire to make more money, and desire to live bigger than necessary or bigger than they should ordinarily.
So what you're saying is that there are no credible Ponzi schemes? As in, when I say credible, I mean in the past.
Legitimate
legitimate
Yes.
Ponzi schemes.
They can't be Ponzi and it's illegitimate.
Because the
Right?
Ponzi,
The Ponzi makes it, illegitimate.
Okay, but is there a way you can do the Ponzi thing and be lucky?
No. So
Well.
when you say be lucky, when you say you're lucky, because
investors.
the major challenge why people get into it, especially Nigerians, is this self-denial to say, okay, let me go in first and get my money. Once I'm a first comer, the tendency is that I'll make my money before others come in and the thing will fail. Most people that get into it know that it will fail.
Let me ask you, is there a sense in which even corporate brands, that promote or do some kind of bonanzas and, and ask you to, patronize a particular product, and then, if you're lucky, you get something, and you keep buying and buying and buying and drinking, and you never get that? Is there a sense in which that also is a Ponzi?
There is a deception in it, and I know what you're talking about. You're talking about multi-level marketing. That's the word that it's called, right? So the only difference between multi-level marketing and the Ponzi scheme is that there are products that you can see. And of course, if you have the capacity to do the marketing, you probably will make some money. But oftentimes, you probably do not have that capacity because it speaks to networking. The number of people you know, the number of people you can convince, the number of people that will understand and appreciate what you are doing, for them to be able to come in, for you to be able to sell and make more money. That's different from Ponzi, right? It has its own, do's and don'ts, but it's different from Ponzi. Ponzi, practically, does not even have anything to show. It is just an imagination. It's an imagery of profit or dividend as a result of, some cooked-up stories.
And Professor Walike, in Ponzi scheme, investment strategy is nil, isn't it?
Yes, you just heard from him that it's not an investment. Yes, Ponzi scheme is, call it gambling, if you like. When you are doing something and there is no fundamental, okay? Another word for Ponzi scheme is pyramid scheme. Pyramid scheme, where just as he explained, you find somebody who is promoting it. All that he does is he gets money from people to pay the those that are already there. So there is nothing supporting it, and that is why ultimately it is something that will collapse. All right. Okay. I think the question she asked, you have an economy where, for example, the average rate of return on investment, okay, is say maybe 10%, or let us even say 15%, and that 50% is per annum for 1 year, and then you now have this business that tells you you will get 40%, 50%, or 30% in a month, and then you fall for it. Okay, so that alone, when somebody is telling you you can get 30% in a month, where in an economy you can get ordinarily 15% in a year, okay, that should put you on inquiry. Even globally speaking, because these people say they are going to invest your money in if you like, instruments that are traded offshore. Okay, globally return on investment is not that high. And that's even why even those in developed economies, they come to, we call them frontier, they come here to even invest because our returns are higher. So when somebody is telling you you're going to get 30% in a month, that should raise your antenna.
You see, talking about raising the antenna,
yes,
I can assure you, Professor Waleke, that if another Ponzi scheme comes up tomorrow,
yes,
Nigerians will still partake in it.
Yes.
So my question is, I mean, there've been big ones that have, crumbled, and we've seen people lose a lot of money.
Yes.
Are there psychological or social factors that make people susceptible to these Ponzi schemes?
Yes. First,
or spiritual factors?
Social. Yes, you are right. Socio-economic. Okay. Recall that in 2016, one of the big ones you say big ones. One of the big ones is MMM. Everybody knew about MMM, right? MMM happened in 2016. The Nigerian economy then was in a recession, okay? About 2020, again, when we're in another recession, the COVID-19, this one also reared its head, MBA Forex, okay? And today, we know the state of the economy, okay? High inflation and so on. So these people take advantage of the economic, situation. So yes, economic factors, yes, okay? Greed is also, I would also attribute that also greed. He has said it, you want to live above, your means, okay? So greed is one thing. Yes, I agree, economics, the factor, another. But to some extent, I would say lack of investor education. I'm saying to some extent, lack of investor education, all right? But I wouldn't say that is a major factor, that because people, financial literacy, people say because people are not financially literate, that's not really the issue. Because as I told you, if you take a census of those that are involved in this thing, okay, many of them have knowledge, at least knowledge of, they know, just as he said, they have this prior knowledge that there's something, fishy in that investment. But many of them will want to do it because the friend will say, I did it, I got this, let's do it now, so that we can pull out, early enough. So I won't be surprised to know that, there are a few of them that are still, mushrooming here and there. But this one, I'm sure, by the time what you're doing is also, very good, helping to educate Nigerians. By the time this one is over and the effort of the commission, I'm pretty sure that the incidents will go down.
All right, thank you, Prof. CBEX was flagged sometime, but we will come to that because SEC is one of the regulators. Is it, sir? Apex regulators, yes.
Investment
yes, so we will come to that. But let's get to Lagos. And I'd like to know, Shuaibu, why is it that, people seem to trust these Ponzi investment schemes than our own legit financial, institutions?
Claire, I think Professor Uwaleke has tangentially touched on that subject matter, when he used the word greed. And I think in addition to greed is the desperation by Nigerians to get rich quickly and sooner. More often than not, what you come across is a situation where particularly the new generations, if you like the millennial generation, the Gen Zs, are too fast. They do not want to, for example, stay the number of years some of us have stayed to be laborers and earning salary over 30, 40 years. What they want is get rich quickly, and I want to drive a Benza or, a BMW, just at the age of 25, at most 30. These are some of the things that push Nigerians into these, pyramid schemes or the so-called Ponzi scheme. As regards the earlier question, which technology didn't allow me to answer, I have not personally had an experience in terms of falling a victim of either a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme. But as recent as 2-3 weeks ago, I had cause to counsel the son of a friend of mine who was offered a job by a company in Port Harcourt, and to do documentation for employment, he was made to pay about 900,000 naira. I didn't know all this story until just about 2-3 weeks ago during the Eid al-Fitr celebrations when I went to Kaduna, and then the young man came to visit me. Oh, I'm just coming in from Port Harcourt, and this is the kind of job I got, but we are kept in a bit of a solitary confinement area, and we're not allowed to answer telephone, and a lot of things like was looking as a cult kind of, an association. Then by the time I interrogated the young man, he said to me they were asking me to bring in at least 5 to 10, new customers that will bring in money. I said, okay, what kind of business is the company doing? Oh, they are into oil and gas, as well as jewelries, wristwatches, ladies' necklaces, and what have you. And by the time I interrogated further, I said, do they have a shop? Where is their warehouse? Oh, they normally place order on receipt of money, they place order and then they buy. But then people who are investing money in it, they are assured of 100% returns within 30 days or at most 90 days. I said, well, young man, you fall into, you become a victim of circumstance and a victim of, a pyramid scheme, and this is fraud. This is clearly fraudulent. What is the name of the company? Oh, I'm under oath not to even state the name of the company until uncle you agree to do this. So we come across this every now and then. And believe me sincerely, apart from greed, the major issue is Nigerians are desperately looking forward to cut corners, particularly at this time of, high cost of living. You can imagine, more often than not, these Ponzi schemes usually crash almost on the eve of one festivity or another. We're just coming out of Eid al-Fitr celebration. Our Christian brothers are just, concluding Easter yesterday. So people were targeting to get some money for some of these festivities. Then, of course, the system will just collapse because there is a deluge of demand for to take out the money. One thing is certain, Dr. Agama, you guys are doing very well. You need to up the ante. You need to do a little more in terms of education. But our country, the system has not been generally fair to Nigerians. What do I mean? Like you rightly said, 1989, Omana, I was already an investment banker then. You were a student, but look at from that time till today, it is only a couple of months back that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed the revised Investment and Securities Act. Should it take us this long, this time, to be able to revise our laws? Are we being fair? As recent as 2016, when the MMM, busted, why did it take us almost 15 years or 10 years to get these laws revised? Until this moment, the judiciary has not been cooperating with the security agencies and the regulators like yourself, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Insurance Commission, the Pension Commission. The judiciary hasn't been working in sync with you guys. If they were, why haven't we seen an evidence of 1, 2, 3, 5 people that have been jailed arising from duping Nigerians? I think we need to find a way to up the ante in terms of not just regulation, but also meting out punishment so that this punishment can serve as deterrent to those who might want to get involved in this malfeasance.
Many thanks, Mr. Idris, for your, comments. But, when you likened, Ponzi schemes with the Gen Zs and the millennials, someone may want to disagree with you. Because listening to Dr. Agama, he talked about Ponzi schemes starting in 1920 with Charles Ponzi. And, of course, I remember as a child, my mom telling me about Plan Well. I think that was also like a Ponzi scheme too. He talked about, the one he talked about, as at that time, millennials were not around. I mean, they couldn't have made, such decisions. So, of course, the desire to be rich by humans, irrespective of age or, or season, it's just, I think it's just inborn. And maybe that's why I want to get to Dr. Agama.
Sorry, Enyere, I think it even goes beyond greed or desire to get rich quick. because he said something, delays in our system. And that's why I asked, why is it that Nigerians, have more confidence in these Ponzi schemes investment than in our own financial institutions? And he just, talked about the delay, the slowness, and the ability that, the fact that Nigerians find it difficult to even access, their financial needs from these institutions. Please, yeah, I know you want to pray.
All right. I'm sure Dr. Gama will want to respond to that. But of course, listening to Dr. Gama talk about what a Ponzi scheme is about, the fact that there's no structure, I mean, that should, deter anyone from wanting to do, something like that. Because, I mean, there are other businesses you can do that. You can double or triple your money. I mean, real estate is there and all of that. But I think you can educate us more on all of that. But speak to us about what the Security and Exchange Commission is doing, really. Because Dr. Idris just pointed to the fact that it looks like you're not doing enough.
Well, I guess that position is wrong. Not even guessing, it's totally wrong. The Securities and Exchange Commission, being the apex capital market regulator, has over time been making announcements, publishing circulars, newspaper, and of course using the electronic media. Besides that, we've done videos which are on our website cautioning people about Ponzi schemes and dubious investments. We have, over time also, gotten people behind bars. Recently, we had the Isha, right, who had promised everything. In fact, they tried to register with the SEC, and we say we're not going to register them, and we got them down and got them, to be convicted in court. We also have had others, right? We have Thomas Kingsley, which we have convicted in court. We had, MBA Forex itself, right? We refused to register them because we found out and we discovered that they didn't have what it takes to be so registered. Registration is a very critical process. In fact, registration is a hallmark of regulation. And so it is important that we do what we call the fit and proper persons test in the process of registering any investment company or instrument.
What happened in the case of CBEX? How did it escape your radar?
It is not that. So what happened with CBEX? It's like you just told us here now that you only knew about CBEX 2 days ago or a week ago.
No, but you are the apex regulator.
Excuse me, just wait, right? As the apex regulator, if a company does not come to register, I wouldn't know. If somebody has not come to report to me, I wouldn't know. As much as we can't be everywhere. So we, as much as possible, the ones we can, even very recently, just in Abuja, let me give you an example, a clear example. Provest. I'm sure you've seen some billboards all over Abuja with Provest. I brought them down. The SEC brought them down. So,
but billboards are still standing.
No. What they have done, and we're going after them, what they have done, after we said Provest is not a registered investment, they went back to change their billboards to hectare vests. Go and see. But we cannot do some of these things without going through the process, court process, and
whether hectare vest or Provest is the same picture that is on it.
So that's why we are going after them, and we have issued a disclaimer. So the point is, people are resilient. Speaking to what Mr. Shoaibu spoke about regarding the Investment and Securities Act, I mean, we should commend Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for signing into law the Investment and Securities Act 2025, because that has been in the process for the last 10 years. It has been in the process for the last 10 years. But it's only after our appointment that the current team of the SEC was able to push that law through the National Assembly and got the president to sign it in record time. That shows the commitment of the president. Because what it does is that it provides sanctions that had never been in existence for, Ponzi scheme operators. 10 years imprisonment, 20 years, 20 million naira initial fine.
Please, DJ, speak further on your awareness and, public sensitization, about these Ponzi schemes, and you talk about all that you're doing being on your website and your platform. How many people can access your platform?
Everybody. Everybody. Platform.
And you
we
think,
have
and you,
telephone
and,
lines.
and you think that's the probably the platform, you know, that many, I'm sure most of my colleagues here don't even know your platform.
Because they don't want to check it. You see, the SEC is...
What I'm actually trying
yes.
to drive
Yeah.
is that you need to go outside, be outside your platform as well, your website. You need to also, you know, engage the public through town hall meetings, through the media, through other, you know, platforms other than your website.
Correct, and that has been done. That has been done. So we go out.
Are you on NTA?
What? NTA?
Yes. Do
NTA?
we have your...
Yeah? I'm here.
Yeah.
What is
your
this?
message?
I've been here before.
No, not you. Do
No,
we have your
the SEC has been... I have been here before to speak on the capital market, and I'm here today, and I'll always be here, and I've been to several NTA mediums to be able to speak. I've been on Arise, I've been on Channel, I've been everywhere I need to be to speak to Nigerians regarding this. Besides that, what else have we done? We've just set out a podcast at the SEC to reach to the millennials, to the people that will naturally want to listen to podcasts. We are moving into setting up a capital market radio in this year, 2025. Why do we want to do that? We want to reach every nook and cranny. As much as possible, you also understand that coming to NTA involves cost. How much do I really have to be able to run this? So clearly, if NTA will be magnanimous enough to provide us free airs, you know, airtime.
No. You need to, you need, DG.
Wait now, let me come. Why would I go there?
No.
It's going to be part of
That's
CSR.
a Ponzi scheme.
That can be
Asking for
negotiated.
free
Magnanimity.
is a
No.
Ponzi scheme.
Magnanimity to Nigerian citizens.
That
is
can
not
be
a
discussed.
Ponzi
That
scheme.
can be discussed outside the
Oh,
program.
okay.
But we just wanted, you know, to know, you know, how extensive you are, you know, making your awareness
So
program.
let me just make one point
Yes.
very clear, and that is very critical point. At the presentation of our budget this year, right, the National Assembly recommended to the federal government to grant us 10 billion naira for financial literacy. That is in process. That is, you know, for me, a major step. And the finance minister was, you know, very agreeable to such, you know, opportunity. And that will go a long way at helping us meet this requirement, this need to reach out to everybody. Because for us, it is so critical. Financial education is important, and we must find a way to reach out to everybody that we could reach
Many
out
thanks, Dr. Agama. I'd like to get to Professor Wadleke now. We're looking at, you know, reasons why people would, you know, engage in this in the first place. Well, SEC says they are doing the needful, but it looks like it's not enough. So the people just need to be aware somehow, just so that they do not fall prey. And I'm thinking, you already talked about greed. I'm thinking, how does social proof or peer pressure, you know, affect investment choices? Because if you, I mean, for the different schemes that have failed, I mean, there's just usually a certain group of people. Now, there are some schemes, you find maybe civil servants there. You know, there are some others you go, you find maybe artisans mostly and all of that. And then, you know, like Mr. Idris was trying to say, maybe the Gen Zs and the rest. How, you know, how do you drift away from such pressure, you know, and not fall prey to things like this?
Yeah, thank you. I think you're even answering the question, partly. It is to become aware of the risks and rewards, you know, associated with any investment, particularly the risks. Okay. Now, a friend of yours comes to you to say, "Let's do this," and is only presenting the, if you like, the upside, the returns. Now you're going to get this at the end of. It is for you to also ask, what about the risk? There is no investment that doesn't have risk. Theoretically, we say it's only investment in government securities that, that are risk-free. But if you look at it critically, there's nothing you are investing in that doesn't carry one risk or the other. And we often say that the higher the return you expect from any investment, the higher the risk. So when you understand that there are risks associated with every investment. So when your friend or your customer or whoever is coming to tell you, let's do this because of the so much return that we stand to get, okay? Because you're fully aware, you're now asking, please let us also look at the risks, okay? What are the risks? So if the risk is now presented, okay, and you now choose to do that, then that's your choice, okay? But it's important, as I said, for you to understand that investment has two sides. It's not just about return, but it's also about risk.
Yes.
Let me also say here that all these things we are saying is not just about the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's not just the job of the SEC alone to handle. And that's why, I am for an interagency, collaboration, not just the Securities and Exchange Commission, but also involving, say, the EFCC, for example. Of course, EFCC is even in a better position to unravel issues to do with, financial crimes, okay? Because that's part of financial crime. So EFCC, NCC too, the one in charge of the broadcast, because these things are advertised. By the time you take this kind of products, investment products that they are not licensed, okay, to the MBC, the media house should be asking, please, before we advertise this, are you registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission? If you ask that question, no matter how much they are offering you by way of adverts, if you ask that question, that are you registered? If the product is not registered, then you don't advertise it. So that's the job of the NCC. Then you also have of course, CBN should be one who should be there. Securities and Exchange Commission, of course, leading the whole team, because they are the apex regulator when it comes to investment. Then you have the Central Bank of Nigeria. Then you have the EFCC. Then you have the NCC. Then you have the NICDA, the National Information Technology, because they are in charge, because most of these things are now technology enabled, crypto enabled. Okay, so when you have all of them on the table, like form of a task force, for example, that's when you can talk about effective surveillance. All right, it's not what the SEC alone can do. And you also mentioned why part of why I said CBN should also be there. You mentioned something about distrust in our financial.
In fact, just hold on, Prof. We have some reactions, coming in, and this one said it's from Lagos. It's a very good question. We have more confidence in Ponzi schemes. Apart from the crashing aspect of it, it has helped a lot of people earn a living than the financial institutions. Government programs crash too. Then we have Usman. Then we have Usman Onwa from Zaria. The name of the Ponzi scheme is FF with CAC and EFCC backup, and gives returns every day. Say, Claire, kindly confirm it for us to avoid disaster, which means that it is registered with CAC and it has EFCC backup. And that's why I'm asking again, interagency collaboration. If it has EFCC's backup, how come SEC is not aware of it? Abodin Samod says, how is it that the Ponzi scheme operates for months without being detected by security agencies? Yusuf Abdul from Zaria, Ponzi scheme is a demonstration of how gullible and greedy we are in this country. And Comrade Okpaluwa Eleojo from Abuja, the major driving force of this is the strain attached to success and financial freedom. I know, you have some more.
Yes, I have some more messages. This one is from Yusuf Isa from Kuje. He says, I have made a personal decision not to do any Ponzi scheme. Yeah. Victims are affected due to ignorance. Yeah. This one says, can you please help me confirm if Project Diamond is a legit networking business? All right, I'm sure. I cannot confirm for you, but maybe SEC can help you do that. Samuel Oriya from Makodi says, I invested in a Ponzi scheme in the name of networking, and it was a bad one. Sorry about that. Mohammed Tasiu says, Ponzi schemes are here to stay. People are looking for quick money, even if it means risking being scammed.
So,
So are we just talking?
Yes.
So the question is, are we just talking? With this yield any kind of fruits?
Let's bring Shuaibu before we take a break. Shuaibu, please, can you respond? Because, again, someone said, look, it is, we have more confidence in Ponzi schemes. Apart from the crashing aspect, it has helped a lot of people earn a living, and majority go into this Ponzi scheme because of poverty and lack of confidence or trust in the financial institutions. So can you help us make sense of all of these, comments and responses? And responses.
2 minutes to clarify certain misconception. Number one, Dr. Agama, I think you guys have done very well. I wasn't saying that SEC isn't doing as much as it should. If any, what I was trying to allude to is if we had MMM in 2016, and it took us this long to get to where we are, the previous government, of course, not President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he has not been in power since 2016. But within 18 months, you guys are able to come up with the revised ISA, which captures even the issue of Ponzi scheme. I think this is a kudos to you guys. As regards, publicity, you guys again are doing fairly well. But I would like to latch again on Professor Waleke's view that there is need for interagency cooperation. Maybe it is high time that government should consider the DSS having a financial surveillance desk, or the Securities and Exchange Commission, just like the kind of tangential relationship the NFIU, the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, has with the Central Bank and the EFCC, they should also cooperate with you and be doing some of the surveillance on your behalf, because you can't be everywhere and you can't do everything. As regards the Gen Z, if you observe, 1989 when we had the Omana, issue, fast forward 2016 when we had the MMM, and how many Ponzi schemes did we have from the MMM till now? It shows the level of prevalence, the level of greed, and the level of get rich quickly that a number of Nigerians are. I'm in no particular looking at zeroing it just to say Gen Z or the millennial. Even the 60-year-old, the 70-year-old can fall prey. But when we do statistics, you say area under the normal preponderance of the people who get their fingers burnt are this category of people. As regards what, one of the, comments that you have received, saying that they have more confidence in Ponzi schemes because, the normal conventional financial system isn't giving them financial freedom. I think, to say the least, is being most uncharitable. If the NTA, if the Director General, the whole Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission could spare his time at 7:30 a.m. in the morning to come in with a view to educating Nigerians, and someone thinks that Ponzi scheme are where to go, to say the least, is not fair and most uncharitable. Ponzi schemes are certainly fraudulent schemes. They are delusion. There is no investment. It's a criminal act. And it might be a little, I don't want to be too punitive, but sometimes when people decide to even patronize and begin to network and bring other people to lose money, when you know that this is a crime, in itself, you are an accessory to the crime itself. Dr. Agama did allude to the fact that even the celebrities that are endorsing some of these schemes, the law will go after them. So it might be wise that even those who are marketing these schemes might need to, to be made to pay the price. We can't sit down and allow a few miscreants populate us with so much damage. Look at what has happened to the banking industry. 25 years ago, 30 years ago, we had several banks that fell. That was what gave rise to the incorporation of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Scheme to insure depositors' fund. In the last 15, 20 years, how many banks have failed? Very few. So we've been able to sanitize that environment. So we will also, the government and indeed those of us who are practitioners will continue to team up with the regulators, continue to team up with the security agencies to make sure that the environment is appropriately policed and sanitized.
But I'd like to ask, just before we go for break, I'd like to ask, what are the alternatives? I mean, the responses, have all shown that Nigerians, are willing to invest in platforms that, they can trust and, can at least make some, profit. And you discover that most financial institutions, by the time you make an investment, the charges, the withdrawals, the things, I mean, a lot of people are concerned about that. And it discourages a lot of the category of people, that patronize the Ponzi schemes from even investing their money. Take a civil servant, for instance, whose salary is how much, and he goes and invests in a microfinance or one of these banks. And before you know it, sundry charges. And, so I don't know. What are the alternatives for these Nigerians who, are looking for opportunity, at least to make some few money?
Come to even think about it. Even the savings account in the past that usually gives you some kinds of dividends.
Leverage.
Nothing. In
In
fact, your money reduces by the day.
Please, let's take a break if the director is ready for it. And when we come back, we'll try and see how we can answer that question. DG. All right, welcome back to the program. Again, before we bring in Shuaibu, let's quickly take, I think we have...
some more messages?
Yes, some more messages. I have Tunde from Abuja, and this is a SEC DG CEO. Please help Nigerians to list genuine investment who are registered with you. Please take that note, take that down. Sheon Ogumbi, NTA, can you help me confirm if an investment I registered with web site is registered with SEC? But Sheon, you didn't tell us the name of the investment, so we wouldn't know, what to ask the DG here. Please, if you can just send in the name of the investment again, we'll be glad to do that for you. Now, good morning, NTA. Your program is very good on the issue of Ponzi. 80% Nigerians want it easy, so blame both parties. I agree with you. I do agree with you. It's not just being greedy. The security agencies are also not on top of their games. If not, they have the responsibility of protecting Nigerians by nipping these dubious characters in the bud before they even, take advantage of the vulnerabilities of Nigerians and, land us all into trouble. And we also have our own part to play and as well. Jume Dimbo. Please, the people that said Ponzi schemes have come to stay, when they know it's a crime, should be investigated. No, they're not just saying, just to correct, they're not just saying Ponzi has come to stay. They're just saying, what is the alternative? What is the alternative? And DG said, once we come back, DG will give us the alternatives, for those people.
All right, I have some more messages here. Musa from Abuja says, my question to the DG of SEC is, why is it that it is after the collapse of Ponzi schemes that SEC usually comes up with policies that comes up with policies? Don't they have a monitoring department? Emmanuel Bagudu from Jos says, I'm a victim of this Ponzi scheme. My brother introduced it to me, and I introduced it to my family and church members. We lost over 2.2 million naira. Very sad, very sad. Abdul from Abuja says, Ponzi scheme is not just MMM, CBEX. There are still a lot of Ponzi schemes going on at the moment. Abolarin Samod says Nigerians will still fall for new Ponzi schemes that come their way due to get-rich-quick syndrome. And just in case you want to send in your comments, the number is 0816-968-8126. It is also displayed on the screen. So, of course, you can pick it up and send us your comments. But you see, as we talked about these Ponzi schemes and then the statement made that 80% of Nigerians want it easy, it just crossed my mind. Is it possible that politics is a Ponzi scheme?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, because, you know, is there something that is pushing Nigerians to want to be rich quick?
You know, and just in line with this, your question, Henry, somebody said, what about stocks that crash?
No, because you see, Nigerians would see that, oh, somebody gets into politics, becomes maybe a councillor or whatever, and overnight the person is a big boy or, you know, makes it big. Is that a push for other people to seek other ways? And then again, we know what happens when you venture into politics and you don't win election. You know, it's like a Ponzi scheme. So,
can you give us some of the alternatives?
Yes, so there are a lot of alternatives. You have bonds, which, you know, because investments actually are done as on the premise of your investment horizon. What is your investment horizon? Where are you in the scheme of things? What is comfortable for you? I mean, if you are old, it's advisable that you don't do equities, you do fixed income, you know, because fixed income, you are guaranteed of your principal and you are guaranteed of a return. That's one. Then you have equities. You can invest in the securities market by investing in shares of companies and, of course, corporate bonds. All of these are available on the floor of the exchange.
Do you know I invested in the shares some you know, years back in a particular, in a particular oil company. I don't want to mention the name in Lagos. And it crashed. Yeah. And I didn't say anything, no message, no nothing.
So the point about investment is risk return, right? One of the major challenges of companies, why some companies fail the way they fail, is because those that have even invested in them do not participate in their governance. So if I ask you, that time company you're speaking about, did you ever attend their AGM?
Did they invite me?
Yes, they did.
Did they invite me?
Yes, they did.
No?
Go check.
No?
You'll find out there was an invitation, you saw it, and you didn't even read it.
There's a media organization who also sold shares in a particular year. Yeah. They never called for AGM. And it's the truth.
So if there's a company that has not called for AGM, right, statutorily, inform the SEC. We'll ask them questions why they haven't. We have a department called the Financial Standards and Corporate Governance Department that looks at the returns, right, and the activities of listed companies. So beyond these listed companies, you have one of the most veritable areas of investment is called mutual funds, collective investment schemes. That is one that allows you to measure your risk and to spread your risk. So we encourage people to do that because in that, you most oftentimes will not fail.
What are you doing to simplify this process? See, another problem for Nigerians is they can't go through all this.
So what we are doing to simplify this process is that all of this investment can be done through an app on your phone. So the stockbroking firms all have apps where all you need to do is to just put your information and press the security you want to buy, and you can buy instantly.
Professor Waleke, you need to make this relatable for us, please.
Yes. The best bets, I usually advise, you don't try to do it on your own. You know, seek advice. Okay, if you want to do undertake any investment, meet a stockbroker. Okay, meet a licensed.
How do you get a verified license?
No.
I said you should make it relatable. He's even compounding by bringing.
No.
Go to our website.
You know, our perception about stockbrokers and all that is the same. Is also similar to what how we view insurance companies.
No.
You don't think so? You should just ask the question.
So just meet an investment, meet somebody that will advise you. Meet an investment advisor, okay? Now, regarding Ponzi schemes, I just have this advice for, the public, for Nigerians. Okay, when you have an investment being presented to you, okay, you look out for the 3 R's, okay? 3 R's. One is ask whether that investment is registered, whether that business is registered, whether the promoters, who are the promoters? Okay, are they licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission? That's first. Registration, that's the first R. Okay. Then also try to find out whether the any investment that relies on referrals, okay, is also something that should make you cautious. Referrals means go and bring, somebody. Okay, if they're asking you go and bring somebody, then put a question mark on that, that kind of investment. Okay, and there's also something we say with respect to Ponzi scheme, that when it comes to Ponzi scheme, there is always, bear in mind that there's always guaranteed loss. The first risk in Ponzi scheme is guaranteed loss. That you can stand to lose everything you have invested. Unlike somebody that has put money in the bank. If you put money in the bank and something happens, the NDIC can at least come to give you something. If you put money in the capital market, in legitimate, instruments, okay, securities, if something happens now, Section 192 of the Investment and Securities Act, okay, I think 193 has now provided for an investor protection fund, which exchanges are meant to, establish. So if you put money in the capital market and something happens, okay, you also stand to get something. But when you put money in the Ponzi scheme, don't expect that you are going to recover any money. Like this one, now people are expecting they will recover. It is not likely. It's not likely going to happen, because in the first instance, that business is not registered.
No,
so
but it has EFCC backing, and it has
registered with
SEC.
Registered with
yes, and
it
it has
Commission.
and it
It
is
doesn't have
registered with
EFCC
corporate
backing.
affairs.
Yeah,
So
no.
it's fake?
Yeah, it doesn't have what EFCC is, and it's not even EFCC, it's SCOMO. SCOMO is a data, institution, as part of EFCC, to collect data on transactions. So it is not EFCC registered. The registration of a company does not mean that that company is safe. It is only a statistical information as to who is part of that company as an investor. So for investment particularly, we must drum this to Nigerians. If any investment institution does not provide you with a SEC license, that institution is illegal. It is your responsibility as Nigerians to report to the SEC, and we will go after them.
Okay, please, just this question before we go to Lagos. Somebody just said, please, how much do we need to invest, and how long do you need to wait for ordinary Nigerians in these bonds? I said, please help me ask.
Yeah, so bonds are paid, some of them are paid twice in a year. That's the dividend, the interest on bonds. They are paid twice a year. In fact, the federal government recently issued a dollar-denominated bond issued in Nigeria, which means that you buy that security with dollars and you are going to earn dollar returns. That is fantastic, besides other bonds that have been issued by the federal government. Then, of course, corporates.
Are these not elitist?
They're not.
No, okay, but there's also the savings.
There's also the savings bond.
Savings bond for 2 years.
For 2 years.
3 years.
3 years.
And government also pays twice a year.
So an artisan has 50,000 naira.
Yes.
5,000.
And wants to buy an
5,000 you can do the savings bond.
5,000 you can do savings bond.
I'm getting to a point.
Yes.
An artisan needs to buy an extra equipment to do his job and has 50,000 and the equipment costs 70,000. He's looking for where he will put that 50,000 today so that in 3 months he will get 70.
He will get 70%.
And do.
They are telling
No,
you.
you are encouraging Ponzi.
I'm not
You are encouraging Ponzi.
No, I'm not.
You are saying
I'm
that
not.
you should collect
I'm
that
not. No,
70%
I'm not.
income.
I'm asking
transition.
what's the tenure of these kind
Sorry,
of schemes that you're talking?
let me
See,
come-
the
let me say
tenure
something
usually
here.
it's annual.
Wait a minute.
So for somebody who is hungry, so you put all that you have. Are you supposed to wait for 12? Do we have investments that are credible, that are short term?
Just a minute.
So that 3 months, 6 months, 1 year.
I talked about 3 hours. 3 hours to no Ponzi. I talked about registration, and I talked about referrals. They keep telling you to go and bring people. The third one is return. That's this one. Return. So this kind of return you're talking about, you put 50,000, you invest 50,000. The next month you want 70,000. That's a return that should also make you suspicious. So
should I even ask Larry a question?
Yes.
Do you ever plant a seed and expect it to grow in 1 week? and get fruits out of it.
No, it will not.
Did
you say, don't misunderstand me.
The
And
realities of now.
Another point would be that once you lock your money in all these investments you're talking about, you don't have access to it until the tenure elapses. So for someone, there could be an emergency. Do you understand? So that's another deterrent why a lot of people may not want to go into
you
such
can do
things.
mutual funds.
So,
you can do
mutual
funds.
Why you talk about long term, 1 year, 3 years and all that. Some people cannot wait for that long. Do you understand? They could have a sick mother eventually. So they want to get their money out, as quick as possible. So are there other investment options that are short term?
You have money.
Do you understand? You could.
You said
Yes, I'm saying that investments have tenor. You have money markets investment, you have also capital markets. Capital markets investments are meant to be medium to long term. So if you are looking for the short term ones, okay, as I said, the best bet for an average citizen is just to give your money, put your money with the professionals, the mutual funds, those that manage mutual funds. They will be in a position to know where to put your money. And if you say you want your money on a monthly, you want your returns on a monthly basis, that's also something that can be arranged with those mutual fund companies. Okay, and that when you do that, you can even go and sleep because you know that somebody is managing your money.
Mutual trust companies. Can you
mutual
break
funds?
Mutual funds.
Yes,
Can you break
fund
it down?
managers.
Who are they?
Yes, they're also companies licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. And if you go to the SEC website, you'll also see their list. That's why SEC.
Let's get to Lagos. Shaibu Idris, I'd like you to speak about. I think you should just give a general advice. We're running out of time, really. There's someone watching now who will likely become a victim of these Ponzi schemes tomorrow. Just speak, especially with the current economic realities. What would be your advice, to a Gen Z or a millennial, like you have highlighted, who is thinking of how to improve his or her livelihood? Who is thinking?
Before I go into the advice, let me give you a piece of information that I think my professional colleagues miss out. When you say that somebody buys into a bond for 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years, and they may have an emergency or exigency to want money in 3 weeks' time or 1 month's time, bonds are generally tradable. They are traded. So the fact that I bought a bond for 10 years or 5 years, it doesn't mean I have to stay until the maturity of the bond. So I could go into the secondary market and sell that bond. If I invest my money in shares, I could buy shares today, and by next week, by 31st of April, today is 23rd of April, by 31st of April, 7 days from now, I can decide to sell the shares and exit. So Ponzi scheme are no alternative, not at all. Secondly, my advice to average Nigerian, those of us looking to earn a living through legitimate means of earning is be careful, be careful. And the third word, careful. Tread on the path of caution. The fact that we get born, raised up and we still die doesn't mean that the fact that human beings die, we should stop giving birth to children. The fact that cars have accident or aircraft have accident, it shouldn't mean we shouldn't join or get moving in cars or in aeroplanes. What do I mean? The fact that banks fail, the fact that somebody like Claire bought shares in a company, in an oil company, and the oil company collapsed, doesn't mean that, we should stop buying shares. Indeed, there is risk and there are returns. So the risk and returns are usually correlated. Claire, maybe if you had availed yourself to an advice by a financial advisor, maybe you could have taken a precaution. Not to worry about it, what Dr. Agama said, all companies that are quoted on the exchange are mandated by law. They must have an annual general meeting. They must render accounts, and they do this regularly. They will send text messages. They will publish on the pages of newspaper the dates of the annual general meetings. They will even send emails. This is what we normally do in quite a number of instances. Professor Walike did allude to the fact that there is an investor protection fund. I happen to be even on the board of trustees of the investor protection fund. I have been opportune to witness where some of the investment done through shares that were found to be fraudulent. The Investors Protection Fund did come to the aid of the investors, and we made restitution. Reasonable amount of monies were paid to the investors when we realized that either the stockbroker or the stock-breaking firm were fraudulent in the process. So Ponzi scheme does not have that insurance. The pyramid scheme doesn't have any form of insurance. And whosoever decides to go into that, either in an aura of get rich quickly or greed or both, they have themselves to blame. The EFCC certification that we are looking at is no certification. What has been happening is these companies will go in and provide the EFCC with fake data, with different motives, so that they get that quote and unquote the certification of the scheme. And it's not a certification. The entity that is supposed to certify those who are supposed to operate in the investors market is the Securities and Exchange Commission and not the EFCC. So anybody who is flaunting an EFCC paper to...
Thank you, Shuaibu. We are almost running out of time. Just a quick one, 60 seconds. I'm just wondering, is there a way in which tech companies can play a role in early detection and reporting? And DG, can NTA partner with you to start up a media Ponzi watch, segment?
Sure, very well. That's very much welcome. We are, see, what has happened has taught us additional lessons, which we have taken on board. It's not, it would be wrong to say that we've not learned anything. No. We are going to be stronger, better, and protect Nigerians more. That's our responsibility, and we'll take it up.
All right. In terms of protecting Nigerians, Mr. Idris was talking about financial advisors. Do you access them for free?
Yes. So financial advisors, all you need to do is to go to our website. It's www.sec.gov.ng/CMOs. That is Capital Market Operators. Once you do that, you find all of the financial advisors registered by us, and you reach out to any one of them to be able to get advice at any time.
You see, I've been...
My advice is
yes.
anybody who wants to undertake an investment must or should approach a stockbroker.
All right.
For proper advice, yes.
All right. So much said already,
Yes,
about this. I think we're out of time, but I would like to just get 30 seconds. What will be your words to those who have lost money in one Ponzi scheme or the other?
Well,
especially CBEX.
Well, for those that have lost money in one Ponzi scheme or the other, and especially now CBEX, is that we must be careful, for future instances, and as much as possible, as we investigate, whatever comes out of it, the public will know.
Is there a likelihood of getting the directors of this company, the latest, arrested?
Yes, there is. That is, for us, is a no-brainer. We are going after them wherever they are in this world, in cooperation and collaboration with other security agencies. We'll get them to.
All right, that's the performing DG of the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Yes, I think we need to give you an and all that guys, Shuaibu as well.
Dr. Muhammad Timi Agama, Director General, Securities and Exchange Commission. Thank you so much, and of course we want to keep having you. I mean, on GMN and of course on other programs, just so that people can be educated.
I like that you had to clarify that.
Thank you very much. Professor Uche Waleke, Professor of Capital Market, Director, Institute of Capital Market Studies, Nasarawa State University. Always a pleasure to have you. Thanks so much for your insights. And of course, Shuaibu Idris, Managing Director and CEO of Timeline Consults Limited. Thank you so much. The millennials and the Gen Zs have heard you loud Loud and clear. Thank you. So that's our package this morning. I'm Henry John, never locked on the NTA.
And I'm Claire Adelabu Abdulrazak. I'll see you tomorrow.